Yep. Hi, everyone. So we are back after a short break, or rather, a relatively longer break, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah. So today is 19th November. No, I don't think we are here to sort of relive or revisit the ghosts of 2023. For sure, not. Actually, we are here to discuss a rather important topic. What exactly is happening with the Indian Test side, especially in the home conditions, since the time Gautam Gambhir has taken over the baton from Rahul Dravid as the coach. In the last six games at home, India has only won two, and that too against West Indies, a relatively weaker West Indies. Probably I mean, even a probably even a Bangladesh side would be able to beat them in any condition right now. That is the situation of West Indies currently. We lost 3-0 to New Zealand last year. People thought that it might be an anomaly, but again we have started by losing a very important test against a rather inexperienced South African side led by Temba Bavuma. Uh, Suresh, I mean, this is not a one time or a two-time thing. This is definitely a pattern, and I'm not too sure what exactly is happening here with respect to the management, selection, pitches, the way Indian batters are batting, especially against the spinners and average spinners like Simon Hama. He bowled well, but again, he's not a world class spinner yet, and we crumbled against him completely. What exactly is going wrong here?
Yeah, I mean, you make some good points actually, right? Like, see, historically, that's not been the case, right? When Kohli was the captain, what I think over a span of 8 years, we lost two Test matches or something like that, right, in India, and so something has clearly changed drastically. Obviously, two things here. One is the fact that Gambhir is now the coach, and second is the fact that you don't have the captaincy material of Virat Kohli. Those two things have dramatically changed, and I think let's address the first one, right? I mean, Gambhir as a coach. I think he's clearly there's some sort of a pressure which he feels. I don't know what that we need result oriented pitches, and the only way to go for result oriented pitches is to get spin tracks. And to be really fair, these are not even spin tracks. Right? These are dust. These are something abnormal. I mean, these tracks. What if matches get over in 2.5 days? These are not really good tracks, and apparently that's what India has been asking for. So if you're asking for such sort of tracks, and I to beyond a point, I really can't blame the batsman because, to be frank, batsmen on both sides have struggled. It is just that Temba Bavuma played an exceptional innings, and that could have played by an Indian batsman also. But the question here is really, I mean, why do we need to? What's the pressure to have such sort of a pitch on every single match where always you're putting an opposition in chance, right? And yes, a guy like a Simon Harmer is probably new, right? But he is, I think, what he's close to 1,000 wickets in first class cricket. He's a legend in South African cricket. I mean, the guy definitely knows his trade. Probably hasn't played in India before, but he's definitely good at his craft, right? He knows his work. So it's good spin you're playing against. And unfortunately, we don't have the talent. I don't think, to be really frank, I don't think any team has the talent to bat spin right now. Not just India. It's that, and this is not really spin, man. This is just the pitches that I don't think. I don't know why we're obsessed with this sort of pitches instead of regular Indian pitches, which say take bat well in the first 2 days, start sturdying a bit in the third day, and in the fourth and fifth day it becomes difficult to bat. That's how typical pitch is, right? And that's how it should have been. I don't know why. What's our obsession with going for this crazy pitches?
Um, I'll tell you my point of worry. You spoke about Kohli era. That was an exceptional era with respect to test. The way Indian Test squad played in those 6-7 years, right? Even before that, if I go back in time, the likes of Dhoni, the likes of Ganguly, Dravid, Azruddin, since the time we have started watching cricket. To be honest, I have never seen such kind of situation with Indian cricket in the home conditions. Right? We yes, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, we used to struggle to win overseas. That was always the case, especially in the SENA countries. But again, India was always a force when it came to the Indian conditions, right? You saw, and we have seen this with a lot of legend sides traveling to India. We saw that Australian side traveling to India in '98 and in 2001. That side was unbelievable. Then we saw a lot of good South African sides traveling to India. But again, this kind of sheer what do you call it? I don't know how to put it across. The way India has been surrendering. I think that is something which is really shocking to me. And I think I watched an interview of Cheteshwar Pujara as well. Pujara is normally a very quiet and very composed kind of person, but he was a little he was literally fuming that what kind of transition is this where we are not winning in India? I mean, is this even, how is this even acceptable at this point of time, right? भाई अगर गंभीर बाहर बैठा होता कोई और कोच होता गंभीर would have literally bashed the entire
Yeah,
management, entire coaching staff, entire team, the selection, everything. He would have bashed that on any TV channel. That's what he used to do when
yeah.
Kohli, Shastri were they're leading the side. So something is seriously wrong. You mentioned about the pitches. Yes, definitely we have not seen these kind of pitches very frequently in the last decade, or even if we go in time before that as well. We saw an occasional Nagpur page maybe an Mohali page where games were cut short for 2.5 days, 3 days. I remember that Murli Karthik game in 2004 where Australia won the series, I think 2-1 or 3-1, something like that. Other than that, you don't remember too many games where we literally played on ranked turners and none of the batters had any clue. We saw that in New Zealand in second and third game as well. We are seeing it here as well, and I'm pretty sure I won't be surprised considering the way Gautam Gambhir handled the press conference that it's gonna be the case in the coming future as well.
Yeah, so then it begs the question, right? Why? I mean, see, like again, I go back, like you said, right? Like, we have watched cricket for so long in India, right? And there is a very set pattern for cricket in India. It's nothing new. I mean, the first, like I discussed, right? The first 3 days, a team whoever bats first will end up putting a 400, 500. The other team puts up a 300, 400. You get a 100 lead. That's a good lead. You somehow put up in the third innings, you put up a 200 target, a total 300 target, and then you completely depend upon spin and the dash balls, and you get them out. That's how it is, right? Batting gets very difficult in the fourth innings. But here, from the first innings itself, I mean, teams are getting all out in the first day. So I can't understand this, and I don't like you said, right? I don't understand why Gambhir is under pressure to have such pitches, and he's sort of blaming the batsmen for not being able to play. I think that's a very stupid approach. Nobody can play. I mean, look. First of all, we have to accept the fact that with the advent of IPL and how the way T20 cricket is happening, people don't have the talent to play spin as much compared to what was there earlier. We don't have those batsmen. And again, like I mentioned, not just in India, there are very few good spin playing batsmen across the world. And people like Markram and all are really good players of spin, right? I mean, he's played spin everywhere. They won the series in South Africa, in Pakistan also, right? I mean, they do the series in Pakistan. So it's not like these guys can't play spin. They can play spin, but even they're struggling. And barring that one Bauma innings, nobody made any effort really much in that innings, in that test match. So I can't understand the obsession. And like you said, if Gambhir was on the other side, he would have criticized this management for putting up these pitches. Now he's defending the pitches and saying the batsmen are at fault. Bullshit. I mean, if he himself was playing over here, he would have struggled. There is no chance he would have played spin. And yeah, I mean, I can understand Pujara's question. I mean, there's no transition, right? And even Gill, unfortunate what happened to him. I mean, I thought he would have played well in those pitches, but he was not there. And Pant plays the way he plays. Uh, that middle order also, again, we come back to the over reliance on all rounders, right? That's a topic which we have to discuss, right? What is this so much obsession with all rounders? I mean, why can't you have specialist batsmen? High time we look at getting good batsmen into the side instead of having this. Like, why not Dhruv Jurel, right? Like, the guy is in crazy form.
I think I'll come back to that point, Suresh. You mentioned about the batters not being skilled enough to sort of play in these kind of situations on these kind of wickets, right? But that brings us to a very important question: when will we start valuing the typical traditional test cricket batters, right? The likes of Abhimanyu Eswaran or maybe a Rituraj Gaikwad. I mean, we
Sarfaraz
had.
Khan. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Washington Sundar, but man, he can't be your number three. Come on, man. He
Yeah.
is not your number three batter. And you have the legacy of Rahul Dravid, Cheteshwar Pujara for so long, and now you are promoting someone like a Washington Sundar, with all due respect, as a number three batter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I think that's bizarre, and that's puts up a lot of important questions. What are the players? All these guys, who are scoring tons of runs in these kind of wickets and in the Ranji Trophy games. What are they gonna achieve, right? What is the message which you are trying to send across to those guys who are putting in those efforts, who are scoring tons and tons of runs in the domestic circuit. That okay, uh, we want you to be a bowler as well. I don't know. We want you to be an all rounder rather. India is playing three or four all rounders, right?
Yeah,
I mean, in these conditions, even if you are dishing out rank turners, to that point, I think have at least a couple of batters who can play that kind of
yeah,
knock, right? Who can play that Pujara role, who can be the Rahul. I mean, Rahul Dravid. I shouldn't be using the name because he was in a league on his own. But uh, I think the likes of Gaikwad or maybe I don't know Abhimanyu Ishwaran, you should have given Sai Sudarshan a go, man. I mean, what is the point which you're trying to prove? And you did not even give overs to Washington Sundar. I mean, what's the
yeah,
point? What's the use here? I mean, that's where this theory will work in T20 cricket because you will have odd days where you might need an over or two from someone, but on not in Test cricket, man. I mean, you need to have specialists, and I'm really surprised that nobody's calling that out. And this guy is doing bullshitting around for the last 12, 14 months, especially in the Test cricket. कोई और होता ना वो 3-0 whitewash के बाद he would have got
yeah,
sacked. I can bet
yeah,
on it. And this is not an that was not an anomaly. That is clearly visible. The only reason we were able to draw that series in England was because most of the time we were getting flat decks over there, and England also had their concerns with respect to the bowling, and then obviously the magic of Mohammad Siraj in the final day saved
right.
the face. But again, other than that, the way we performed in Australia, batting that first Test match, where Bumrah sort of did all the damage on his own, and if we keep that England series aside, I think I'm not going to count that Test match series against Bangladesh or West Indies to judge any of these guys, right? So I think the way it is going, I think the future is really, really dark for Indian Test team for sure.
Yeah, no, you make a good point actually. I mean, okay, you brought Gambhir to the coaching because of his credentials at KKR. But what's his credentials in Test cricket coaching, right? The guy has absolutely no credentials. And somebody like a Lakshman who's sitting there as an NCA coach, he's been there for so long. He's been coaching the India A team, the emerging team, and probably one of India's greatest all-time Test batsmen, right? If he's there in with you, I think maybe you should look at a position where you have a different coach for white ball cricket and red ball cricket. It's absolutely fine. I mean, I'm okay. Let's accept the fact that Gambhir is not a good Test cricket coach. It's as simple as that. And you have the likes of Lakshman in, and it's like I said, right, it's like I mean, I think Jadeja made a point, right? Test cricket captaincy is not that difficult, right? So similarly, I don't really think captaining coaching Test cricket in India is too difficult. Sorry, I mean I don't want to make it so trivial also, but there is a set pattern, right? We are a really good side playing in India. It's not difficult. We have always won. Don't change the pattern. Keep the same patterns. Like you said, get the specialist guys who can spend time in the crease. What about Sarfaraz Khan, man? I mean, I feel sad. The guy is average of 80, been scoring tons and tons of runs. Few innings you give him, he fails, and then he's completely out of the whole story. What again, like you said, right? What message are you sending to the players who are playing all the runs and scoring all the runs in Ranji? It's really sad. I mean, you need guys like that who can play those long innings. The guy has worked on his fitness. The fitness is a problem. We have seen that he's worked on his fitness. Give him the goal. Let him build that partnerships in the middle order. I don't know, man. The problem with me and with Gambhir, with me, I feel is that he's too stoic. He's too stuck up. I won't change my methods. This is the way I'll coach. Whatever happens in results, I don't give a damn. This is the way I'll coach. And that is frustrating. That lack of acceptance to feedback, lack of acceptance to criticism, and just going the way my way or the highway. That is a big problem. Is what I feel.
I mean, everyone should learn from the mistakes, right? Even the
Yeah.
Zepto guys, they accepted that Adit guy, that the
Well,
dark pattern was not cool, and they
yeah.
revoked it. I think that's the one problem with Gambhir, which has been all around, and yes, he's still stuck in 2011. That he was not given enough credit for that World Cup final, and he'll keep on saying the same things again and again. And I won't be surprised if he, till the time he's the head coach of Indian side, we'll see more and more rank turners. See some random weird kind of team selection across formats. Uh, he has made people like Yashasvi Jaiswal sit out of T20 squad and played Shubman Gill, made him the vice captain. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, let's be very honest. Nobody knows, and such is I think we have repeated this multiple times. Such is the talent and depth of the Indian white ball cricket side that we are still winning because
Yeah.
despite Gambhir being Gambhir and doing all those nonsense things. But then also we are winning just because of the sheer talent. And I think Test cricket is a different beast. over here you'll need someone who can sort of have that kind of patience, have those skills, who would want to rather spend time on the wicket. And this T20 approach, all round to select teen char all rounder, char paach all rounder, bits and pieces cricketer, I think that's not gonna work. So, and again, I'm pretty sure that's gonna not gonna change in the next game as well. So
Yeah, so I mean, you think I personally think the South African side is really good, and I think if we continue playing these pitches, I mean, it's going to be real contest. And the fact that like it's just a matter of one. If you have such a pitch, right, it's just a matter of one or two batsmen deciding that I'll put a price to my wicket, I won't go out, and that's what Bahuma did. Unfortunately, nobody could do it in India, but from the Indian side. But you cannot discount the South African side. I wouldn't be surprised if they come back harder. I'm not sure about Rabada. Is he coming back for the next Test match? I'm not aware. But if he is, then even more difficult for us. If Gambhir has a stupid strategy again of playing the same pitches, then God help us.
I think it's gonna be the same, but we'll have to wait and watch. Still a few days to go.
Yeah.
All right, I think we let's talk about another important event which happened in the last few days. A lot of noise has happened. Is the IPL trade? Let's talk about that deal which happened between CSK and the Rajasthan Royals, where CSK traded Jadeja and Sam Curran and got Sanju Samson instead. What do you make of it? And I'll reserve my thoughts. I have my own thoughts as a hardcore CSK fan, but I'll like to hear it from you first.
No, I think I mean, to be really frank, I think the deal is more fairer for Rajasthan than CSK. I understand that CSK is getting a talent like Sanju Samson, and they may look at him as a captaincy material down the line. And obviously, the fan base he brings in, right? And being a South Indian, having that name, all that is great. I mean, it's superb. And I'm a very big Sanju Samson fan, and I'm excited for that to see him in CSK colors. I think he'll be like a hand in glove, right? I mean, the ideal player to play, and I mean, under Dhoni, wicket keeping, all perfect. But yeah, I just feel that letting go of Jadeja, I mean, it's been such a mainstay for them, and Rajasthan did not have that good Indian all-rounder finisher person, and they've got the perfect guy now. And they didn't have good Indian spinners also. Both their spinners struggled, right? I mean, Hasaranga and Tikshana struggled, and they were both let go. They were not retained also. So I think they have sort of filled a good gap where a good Indian all-rounder slash spinner has come in. But I still think Chennai has a lot of gaps now with a good spinner and also Sam Curran going away. I still think Chennai, even though Sanjay is coming, is still short of a few Indian batsmen, especially in the finisher role. But but otherwise, overall, I think a lot of positives for both sides. What I feel.
Interesting. So actually, let's look at the thought process or possible thought process which CSK management in particular would have had with this deal, right? So Dhoni is retiring sooner or later. I know we have been talking about this for the last 3 or 4 seasons, but I think the time is here. I think this is surely gonna be his last one, and I won't be surprised if he decide to sort of hang his boots mid season as well. Now the problem with CSK before Sanju was that they did not have a backup, a wicket keeper, proper wicket keeper batter who could fill in the big shoes, right? So they needed someone at that position. Ideally, an Indian guy who probably could be roped in for a longer tenure, right? And Sanju, I feel that perfectly fits the bill. First of all, he's a top order batter. He can bat it as an opener. He can come at number three, number four, depending on the requirement, depending on the situation. And plus, I think we'll see a lot of Sanju Samson behind the wickets as well going forward. And like you mentioned, he could be a good alternative. I'm sure they are gonna stick with Rituraj for maybe a couple of seasons. And if that doesn't work out well, probably they might want to sort of try Sanju Samson at the helm as well. And obviously the kind of so CSK has been always been associated with the kind of fan following they have got over the years. And now once MS moves out of the equation, I'm sure he will gonna be attached with CSK as a mentor or something. But again, the dynamics are really different when he's playing as a player, right? So they needed someone to fill in that gap. My only concern was, CSK over the years have been one franchisee who had valued relations uh, just as much as they have valued the cricket, I would say. So probably from that angle, I'm slightly disappointed that Jadeja had been with CSK for the last 14 years, right? 13, 14 years. And uh, I'm sure they would have discussed this with Jadeja and they would have done it gracefully. But having known Jadeja, and I'm pretty sure he would have got disappointed as well that that the franchise is trying to sort of move on from him. For Rajasthan, I think they've got two gaps plugged in here. One, obviously, like you mentioned, they've got a finisher. They've got a world class spinner, T20 spinner, T20 bowler in Jadeja, world class fielder as well. And then on top of that, they've got someone like a Karan as well, who can again play the finishing role, ball in death overs, ball in the power play if there is swing and seam. So sweet deal for both the sides. And again, we'll have to wait and watch for the auction how CSK goes about it, because there are a lot of gaps in the CSK lineup, like you have mentioned. They've got a couple of good players at top of the order. Ayush Mate would be there. Samson would come in the top of the order. Gaikwad would be back. He was injured last season. But again, a lot of players like Vijay Shankar, Deepak Huda, all those
Huda,
guys, Rahul Tripathi. Uh, I mean, they did not really fire in the last season, and I think probably they might look for a few other options who could probably give them the finishing touches. Now with Karan and Jadeja moving out, I think they will be overly reliant on say Devalt Bravis or maybe Mumi and MS. But I think they will definitely look for a couple of finishers in the going in the auction, and that is something which they have to watch out for.
this that's very interesting. Actually, you mentioned, right? I mean, do you the whole Jadeja move, right? Do you think? I mean, one of the factors that I think they tried him as a captain, but it didn't work out, right, at CSK. Do you think that captaincy is something which Rajasthan would have lured him in? I mean, why don't you lead the side? Is that something which, and that whole, okay, I can be a captain maybe for the last leg of my career. Is that something which you think would have been interesting move for him?
No, I'm not too sure about the captaincy part. I think they're gonna go with someone like a Yashasvi Jaiswal rather, from the long term perspective, because they have been investing in him for a long time, and
Yeah,
probably they would want to stick with him. And that is where I think we heard it once the season ended that there is some friction between the management and Samson with respect to the captaincy part as well, and that is where probably Sanju Samson had been wanting to move out of the franchisee as well, right? From the CSK's point of view, I think that that also could have been a trigger because they tried Jadeja as the captain, that did not work out. So I know they've gone with Gaikwad, but again he's not that big a name, right? So probably they would want to keep an option, the captaincy option open as well. If not in this season, maybe in the next season, depending on how Gaikwad goes in this season. So probably that's where again that could have also been a factor while going for someone like a Sanju Samson here.
yeah, it could be. I mean, yeah, I didn't think of Jaiswal. Yeah, I think, like you said, right, we invested so much in him, and he's at that cusp where you want to try captaincy maybe with a Jaiswal. Quick question on KKR strategy, right? I mean, what they're coming into the auction with almost 60-65 crores, I think, and they let go of Venkatesh Iyer, they let go of Russell, which is very surprising. I mean, not surprising. He's towards the fag end of his career, but I don't know what they're doing with so much money when the pool itself is so less, right? I mean, hardly, really, not too many players have been retained. I mean, have been released good players, so I didn't understand the CS. I mean, KKR strategy, but I guess like they don't have anybody good anyways, so might as well release them. I think they may buy back a year is what I feel. That
They
price
will.
is
They will.
ridiculous anyway in the first place. Yeah.
Exactly. They spent something around 24.75 CR or some ridiculous amount
Yeah.
in the last season, which obviously was not justified, and that had put an additional pressure on Ayer as well. I think they
Yeah.
will buy back a few of these guys. I am pretty sure they'll go for Ayer again, maybe at a 50-60% discount rate, because I'm not too sure Ayer is gonna fetch anything
Yeah.
above 9-10 CR in the
10,
auction.
11.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think KKR has played in that way where they would probably want to sort of get a year back, and maybe have a couple of guys like maybe even a Maxwell, or maybe have
Green,
even have
Cameron Green, maybe.
Cameron Green and all these guys back. So I
Yeah.
think KKR made a right move, I would say, because any which way they did not had a great season. They did not have a great season in 2024. So probably they would want to do some major changes. And that is a good thought process to go when you clearly know that you have overpaid for a lot of players in the season. So they are trying to rectify that mistake, I would say.
Yeah. No, otherwise, I mean, to be really frank, I don't think there are too many exciting names in the auction. But yeah, you never know, right? I mean, some sudden player, like because KK has so much money, some player may go up in high value and yeah. But yeah, I think it's in December. So looking forward to that. And I think we'll also preview possible buys for each IPL team closer towards the
Yep.
auction. And we can do
Yep.
episodes on that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Sure. Let's do that. I think that would be interesting as well. Uh, you know. Cool, cool. I think this was really interesting. We'll be back soon. Hopefully, Gambhir get some sense and probably at least with the sort of team comment. But नहीं होगा यार वो. We have been seeing this
Or
for the
or
last.
or BCCI get some sense and remove him.
If India loses, I think there might be a case. But again, and he's too powerful again with Jay Shah and everyone at the helm. I'm not too sure it's gonna his position is gonna go going anywhere till at least 2027. But I think this definitely demands. I'm all in favor of having a split
Yeah,
coaching like split captaincy because requirements, skills are very different, and clearly Gambhir is not fitting the bill. He himself was a failure in Test cricket as a batter as well, batting a couple of knocks here and there. I don't see him as a prospect of leading India in the Test side. So hopefully, so sooner or later, it's gonna happen, and BCCI is gonna put someone who is more deserving at this position.
yeah. Looking forward to that. I mean, yeah, I don't want. I like as a cricket fan, it's ridiculous, right? That India's losing at home. I just can't accept that. Yeah.
नहीं भाई 70s 80s में जब इंडिया जीतती नहीं थी ना फिर भी इंडिया यूज्ड टू ड्रॉ मोस्ट
At,
मैचेस दे
at
डिड
home,
नॉट यूज्ड टू
yeah, lose. Yeah, this is
इवन अगेंस्ट द
completely new
माइटी
for
ऑस्ट्रेलिया और
everyone.
वेस्ट इंडीज आई डोंट नो मैन मतलब ये नया ही ट्रेंड शुरू हो गया आई हैव नेवर सीन इंडिया लूजिंग लाइक दिस इन होम कंडीशंस अवे में पता होता था कि यू इट विल
Yeah,
बी मिराकल इफ यू एंड अप विनिंग वन और टू टेस्ट मैचेस और इवन ड्राइंग अ कपल ऑफ गेम्स इन से साउथ अफ्रीका और इन इंग्लैंड बट घर
England.
पे तो नहीं even in Ajruddin and those kind of eras, I mean, used to win more often than not.
Yeah, like, you
Cool.
hardly do like
Let's,
draws okay, but you never lose.
well, losing was never an option.
Yeah,
It never used to happen. Yeah, yeah. Cool, man. Let's see. Let's wait and watch for the second game.
yeah. Cool.
Bye
That's
bye.
correct.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.